phenomenal question. We're actually going to make a couple videos to break down everything that you talked about. But let's start with your first point. Probably one of the biggest talking points that you'll see in anything relating to climate change is something about the energy transition. And everyone and their mother seems to have a different opinion about what the answer to that actually is. And listen, who knows what's actually going to happen and when? But if we're going to collectively choose a path that is going to prevent climate change as much as possible, this is generally where I think we might be headed with power generation. Now, of course, there's not just one answer, and we're also going to be needing to do things like reducing our energy usage. But the absolute number one thing that we need to do in order to limit climate change is to stop emitting greenhouse gases over the limit of which we can take them back in at the exact same time. Meaning that the energy that we do produce is going to have to come from sources like renewable energy. And in a lot of regards, we've already started this transition. Things like wind power, solar, water, geothermal, wave or tidal power. I could keep going. But as we've been working to increase our use of renewables, there's been a lot of challenges or complications with actually trying to implement them. And that's been due to things like corporate or political or public backlash, even with their environmental or climate benefits and as they become super affordable. And as I say this, I really want to emphasize that the transition away from fossil fuels to renewable energy is not quite because we don't have the technology to do it. To make the point, let's talk about how a group of scientists proved that we could fully rely on renewable energy. So back in 2013, these scientists published a paper looking specifically at New York State, where they analyzed the feasibility of converting the entire state's energy grid to one that exclusively relied on wind, water, and solar, using that 2013 technology. They looked at things like natural resource availability, technology, budget, job creation, the current energy system, even current and projected energy demand. And they found that it was in fact possible to run the state's energy system entirely on those three sources. After that study, some of those exact same scientists then went on to do a similar analysis for every single state in the country, plus a ton of cities and nearly every country on the planet, which, if you want to explore for yourself, you can find by going to the website for the Solutions Project, then going to What We Do, and then clicking on 100% Renewable Energy Vision. And since 2013, we've obviously done a lot of development and innovation. So it probably won't look exactly like this, but I do think that it gives us a good idea of what's possible. As always, please leave us any comments and questions that you have about climate change. We're here to answer it all. We're O Shift Climate Talks, here to help you figure this shift out together.